How's it going, everyone? Irish Baker Abroad, Chris over here in Denmark. Today I'm going to do a little bit of bread. Okay, so I have some buttermilk left here. That's from that gluten-free soda bread I did the other day. So I want to use that up. I've got 450 grams of strong bread flour. There's 12.5 grams of protein per 100 grams in this. I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of instant dry yeast. We want to mix that around into the flour. If it's active dry yeast, you want to kind of bloom that in the liquid first. You kind of let it sit for a few minutes till it gets active and bubbly and foamy, then you're good to go. Next up, we get a bowl. I've got 300 milliliters of lukewarm buttermilk. I heat that up in the microwave for about 50 seconds to a minute. Teaspoon of sugar, teaspoon of salt, and about 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil. You can use butter as well if you want. It's just to give a bit of flavour. And get our flour in. Your hand. You just want this to come together. We're not over kneading it or anything. We're gonna let it do that naturally. We just don't want any dry bits of flour left. You can actually just squeeze it. Look, squeeze the flour into it. That's it. Shaggy mess, a bit sticky, but the flour's gonna absorb that liquid. It's going to dry up a bit. Just scrape down the sides. That's it. Okay, we cover this with a plate. I'm going to leave this here for about a half an hour. We want it to rise a bit. We want a bit of air to get in, a bit of gas. We're going to slightly knock it back. Well, not knock it back. We're just going to fold it in on top of itself in the bowl. And we'll give it another half an hour to rise, and then we'll shape it to a loaf of bread. Okay, here we are, 30 minutes later. You can see the dough's risen a bit. Right, get a bit of water on your hand. And you just want to take the outside, stretch it up a bit, and into the center, like that. It's very easy. Like that. Pull it out into the center. And again. That's it. So that's after strengthening now. And you can see it's a bit smoother than it was before. Just put it to the side here for a sec. I'm just going to put a little bit of oil in this, and this is just to make it easier to release and shape afterwards. Don't overdo it, just a drop. Put our dough back in. And we're going to cover this now once more, and we're going to give it another 30 minutes, and then we're going to shape it to that loaf of bread. Alright, that's our half an hour up. You can see it's risen nicely here. Now, I'm going to use a 2-pound loaf tin. This is a high tin. You can also use one of those, which I'm sure you're pretty familiar with. Bit of flour. Now, I want to do this as easy as possible. So you can see. Turn it out. That. Lightly dust the top. Like this. Now we're just going to press the air out. Like that. Okay? We're going to stretch out the sides. Pull them into the center. Like that. Press down. Give it a stretch. I'm just gonna roll it in. That's the easiest way to do this. You want to roll it like that. Gently pull it back and tighten it as you roll. There. Push, stretch it back, push. Now, when you come to the end here, get the palm of your hand and just press down like that. So you get a seal here. And then just flop it over like that. You can pinch the ends here if you want. That's our loaf, it's nice and tight. Get it in. Grand. Now we don't want this to dry out on top, just like the way I did that batch loaf. I'm gonna cover it now with a freezer bag. Grand. And we just want this to double in size. I've got the oven, I started preheating the oven about 20 minutes ago. We want to preheat the oven a good hour before we stick the bread in, because we want to give it a nice kickstart, get a nice oven spring, get a nice bit of height, and a nice crispy crust. Okay, here we are folks, time to bake this. Plastic off, let's have a look. It's risen beautifully. Got a razor blade here. Get a razor blade. It's best, you know, you don't have that danger then of knocking the air out with a sketchy, dodgy knife. So get a razor blade. Got the oven preheated to 250. Turn this fan off here. Get it in. Boiling hot water. Okay, we don't want this as dark as the batch, but if you do, just bake it like the batch. I'm going to lower it down to 220 right away. And I'm going to bake this for about 40 to 45 minutes. We'll take a look. Right, here we are 20 minutes later. I'm just going to remove this tray with the steam. It's looking well. We're just going to get a bit more colour on it. I'm going to give that another 20 minutes. Alright, this is done. Let's get it out. There we go. Beautiful. Savage. I'll turn this out right away. It's a bit hot there. See here, beautifully baked through. The sides. Perfect. Perfect loaf of bread. Buttermilk bread. Savage. Okay, I'm gonna let this cool for a bit, then I'm gonna have a slice. Deadly. Right, everybody, so that's my buttermilk pan. Right, I'm gonna slice it open now, throw a bit of cheese, bit of ham on it, bit of butter. Starving. Alright, let's check it out. Beautiful crispy crust. Beautiful, soft, moist buttermilk pan. Here's a look at this now. Look at that. Absolutely savage. Alright folks, give that a go. You know, if you don't have buttermilk, you can replace it with normal milk. If you don't have milk, use water, whatever you want. But give it a go. Let me know how you get on. And I'll see you next time. All the best. Chris, your Irish baker abroad. I'll see you after. Take care. Up the dubs.